James Packer's vision for a high-roller casino on Sydney Harbour was meant to be the jewel of his Crown empire.
This will be great for Sydney, and there is no one anywhere who's going to try harder than our company to build something special.
Instead, it's become a corporate graveyard of broken dreams and fallen directors.
Crown Resorts is facing mounting pressure from authorities in 2 states.
4 directors have so far resigned in the aftermath of the damning findings of a year-long inquiry, which found Crown facilitated money laundering, disregarded the welfare of its staff in China, and partnered with junket operators linked to organised crime. James Packer's company directors Michael Johnston and Guy Jalland were the first to go. Former AFL boss Andrew Demetriou reluctantly followed. And on Monday, CEO Ken Barton quit, with former federal government minister Helen Coonan taking over as executive chairman.
This company is absolutely in crisis management at the moment, and you've got to view it in that lens that they've got a lot of problems.
As the chairman of the New South Wales gaming watchdog, Philip Crawford is overseeing every single step Crown is taking.
The next few days, I think I'll be having discussions with CPH. We need to talk about Mr. Packer's influence on the company. And
he sat down with 7:30 after the Regulator's board meeting yesterday and called for more heads to roll. 4 directors have gone so far, including the CEO. Is that enough? Has Crown blown itself up enough at this point?
No, not yet. I think I'm in discussions with Ms Coonan regarding Harold Mitchell, and Mr Poynton is in Perth. I would think that they both need to go. Our authority have a very strong view about what needs to change, and to start with, it's personnel, people that we can deal with and we have some confidence in.
The regulator officially told Crown this week it was unfit to run a casino in Sydney. But instead of being stripped of its licence, Crown now has a chance to repair itself, thanks to a deal struck with the New South Wales government 7 years ago.
There is a requirement that in certain circumstances we need to consult with them on certain matters of concern. Those contractual arrangements do not upend the finding that they're unsuitable, but we are going to listen to them and see whether or not we think they can become suitable.
If not for these contractual obligations, would you have stripped Crown of its licence by now?
If not for these contractual arrangements, the finding would have been they're not suitable to hold the licence and they wouldn't have the licence. We would have endorsed that, absolutely.
I think in the end these things have a way of coming back and biting people.
Former Liberal leader John Hewson says the fact the gaming regulator is contractually obligated to help Crown work towards keeping its licence is perhaps no surprise when the history of the project is taken into account.
This is a deal that was done without tender. We don't know the details of those contractual arrangements, but apparently they tie the hand of the regulator. That's again inconceivable. I mean, this whole process, to my mind, has got a stench about it.
Commissioner Patricia Bergen's report provides a compelling insight into how the Barangaroo deal was done. The first meeting between James Packer and then Premier Barry O'Farrell took place over lunch at the home of media identity Alan Jones in February 2012. It's where Packer first pitched his vision for a high-roller casino. Within months, Crown had made a formal bid before a licence was granted without a public tender.
If there was a tender, it'd be very hard to see how we wouldn't have won it.
Both Alan Jones and Barry O'Farrell declined 7:30's interview requests, but Jones has previously insisted there was nothing untoward about the meeting.
Everyone in the country, I think, is aware that I have been friends with the Packer family for years, since James was a teenager.
Probably nothing untoward did happen in that case, I don't know. But that's not the point. If somebody gets privileged access, if the rules get bent for some and not for others, if some are in this case so excluded because the licence is just given or promised as part of a process, I mean, it's just been cooked from the beginning.
Philip Crawford insists he doesn't feel constrained by the obligations and says he won't hesitate to scrap Crown's licence if they don't fix the company culture and tighten their anti-money laundering systems.
They've got a lot to do. I mean, there is a lot for Helen Coonan to achieve to get to a point where we're comfortable about their suitability. Whether she'll succeed, I don't know. And if we're not satisfied as an authority, then so be it, and they will lose the licence.
Crown's licence in Western Australia is also at risk after the state's gaming regulator pushed for its own inquiry following years of money laundering through the Perth casino.
What's happened with the New South Wales findings is that some information has been revealed that wasn't accessible by our agency. We have established our own inquiry, and part of the inquiry also is looking into the performance of our regulator.
The New South Wales regulator backs the new investigation, but warns it could further delay Crown's Sydney licence if fresh evidence is unearthed.
That to me is a bit of a shark in the water in terms of getting to suitability here. Because if they start an inquiry and there's a whole bunch of other stuff that comes up, then that's something that obviously will need to be considered.
The most pressing deadline for Crown right now is the end of April, when its liquor licences expire at Barangaroo. By then, the regulator wants to see a company reformed.
I think it's going to be a really tough ask to get everything sorted to a point where we're comfortable giving the casino licence for gaming at that time by the end of April. But if they can reform enough, get better people, different people involved in their business, maybe they'll get there, but at the moment they're not there.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.